Did you know Leonardo da Vinci, the Renaissance master, was more than just a painter of iconic works like the Mona Lisa? I promise you've never looked at him like this before. This is the story of a man whose mind held the audacious brilliance to dream up tanks, flying machines, robots, and even the designs for cities built to last centuries, long before their time. This unfolds a tale as extraordinary and layered as his paintings themselves. Ready to step into the world of coded mysteries and mind-bending ingenuity? Let's dive in. Picture this: Florence, Italy, late 15th century. The city pulsates with an electric energy, a cultural revolution called the Renaissance. Art, science, and philosophy are breaking the chains of the medieval age. Amid this swirling vortex of intellect stands a young artist, an apprentice, eyes darting around, absorbing not just art, but nature, geometry, human anatomy, and mechanics, like a sponge soaking up every drop of knowledge. That artist is Leonardo da Vinci, just shy of his 20s, and he's already on the path that would redefine what it means to be a genius. Now here's a question. Have you ever thought about what it takes to see connections between completely unrelated things? Leonardo saw all of life as interconnected: art, science, engineering, the cosmos. Imagine solving a Rubik's Cube by inventing it first. This was essentially Da Vinci's approach to everything he touched. But it wasn't just his what, it was his how. Let's start with one of his least known creations: ideal cities. Pause for a moment and think about our bustling urban life today, with traffic, pollution, and bustling chaos. Now imagine designing a city where all these problems melt away. Efficient underground waste systems. Streets designed at multiple levels to separate pedestrians from heavy carts. And even strategically placed canals for ease of transport. Sound futuristic. Leonardo da Vinci thought of this in the 1400s. That's right. 1400 S. Sadly, like many of his ideas, the technology and political will of his time just couldn't keep up. But doesn't it make you wonder how different our modern cities might look had his designs been adopted? And speaking of futuristic inventions, let's talk about the flying machine. Model planes probably aren't a big deal today, but rewind 500 years when humans were earthbound dreamers. Da Vinci spent years observing birds in flight, the aerodynamic tilt of their wings, the subtle dip of a tail feather. He sketched and even built prototypes of an ornithopter designed to mimic their motion. Sketches of his flying machine, often hailed as a precursor to the modern-day helicopter, are so detailed they feel alive. And yet, while the idea could never quite leave the ground during his lifetime, it laid the foundation, a seed of ambition for the flight revolution centuries later. But here's where Leonardo steps onto truly mysterious grounds. Secrets hidden in plain sight. Open up one of Da Vinci's many notebooks. Thousands of pages from his notebooks still survive, filled with illustrations, codes, and backward handwriting. Yes, you heard that right. Backward handwriting. Anyone who tried to read them unaided would hit a wall of confusion. Maybe it's a fascination with mystery, or maybe it was just a way of keeping plagiarists and snoops at bay. Either way, these notebooks weren't merely doodles. They're gold mines of insights into anatomy, geology, astronomy, and engineering, concealed just enough to make them riveting. He dissected cadavers to map every sinew and muscle of the human body. He wasn't content creating realistic art. He wanted to know how bodies really worked from the inside out. He described the heart as a pump, a fact nobody actually confirmed for centuries. And let's talk about the Mona Lisa, arguably the world's most recognized artistic masterpiece. Chances are, you're probably thinking, we know everything there is to know about it. I assure you, not quite. The half smile that's launched 1,000 interpretations? Check. The mysterious gaze that always follows you? Check. But here's something mind-blowing. Da Vinci encoded music within the Mona Lisa. No, It's not the premise of a Hollywood movie plot. He used his mastery of geometry and symmetry to transliterate her features into positions on a musical scale. Imagine, every glance, every brushstroke, as precise as a conductor's baton creating harmony. Who does that? A genius, that's who. And yet, Da Vinci was so much more than a creator of iconic artworks. He pioneered robotics in ways even sci-fi lovers would envy. Around 1495, he drafted blueprints for a mechanical knight capable of sitting down, waving its arms, and even moving its jaw. Let that sink in. 1495, and someone was already conceiving robots. In fact, if ever science fiction had a historical forerunner, Da Vinci's notebooks would read like the pages of a futuristic designer. Now, let's not forget, he was human too, full of contradictions. By all accounts, Da Vinci finished few of the ambitious projects he started. He sketched more innovations than he built, theorized more problems than he solved. But isn't that what makes him endlessly fascinating? It's like being handed only the edges of a puzzle. You're left itching to see the entire picture. Here's where I want to take a moment and pause to ask you, right now, watching this video, what do you think defines genius? Is it success? Or the audacity to think ahead of your time, to create knowing rejection is inevitable? Because that's Da Vinci, a man who dreamed in 3D in a world confined to flat surfaces. As we approach the climax, let's fast forward. The modern world celebrates Da Vinci, not just for what he did, but for what he dared to envision. From the helicopter to the hang glider, and even efficient drainage systems, his ideas laid the groundwork for breakthroughs we now take for granted. But here's the twist. Much of his genius wasn't even discovered or understood until after his death, when historians dug into his journals. Talk about a mind whose brilliance transcended even his mortality. So, why does this matter to us? Because the world of innovation and genius Leonardo bequeathed us is still alive. Every skyscraper, every airplane, every functional city system, they all carry tiny echoes of his revolutionary ideas. The question we should ask is, where would we be without rebels who think bigger than their time? Imagine what we could achieve if we dared to think the way Da Vinci did, believing in the impossible, investing in dreams. Here's your takeaway. History isn't just the study of dead men and obsolete timelines. History is the blueprint of the present and a mirror to the future. And Leonardo? He's proof that one curious mind can reshape centuries. If there's one thing you take from this video, let it be this. Stay curious. Now I know we've barely scratched the surface of his story. There are more mysteries to decode, more inventions to marvel at, and more secrets perhaps still waiting to be found. So, if this has intrigued you, if you're as fascinated by hidden histories as I am, hit that like button and subscribe for more incredible tales from our past that continue to shape our today. Let's keep peeling back the layers of time together. Until next time, stay curious.